Y'all know what time it is. Fight fans, welcome back to the Combat IQ channel. Let's get started with Jon Jones goes on another social media rant last night. Jon Jones went on another rant about everything. Here are some of the things he said. First, he reacted to a tweet ESPN's nominees for Best UFC Fighter in 2025, and he reacted by saying, "What, no bones?" Then a fan called him out for fighting Stipe Miocic, and Jon fired back with this, "The best heavyweight in MMA history. But when I fight him, he's just a fighter. Make it make sense." Then another fan called out Jones for fighting a 42-year-old Stipe. Jon replied with, "And I'm 38 after a career of title fights, only big boy workload." Another member of the MMA community said, "Tom Aspinall ducked Jon Jones." To which Bones reacted by saying, "I know, right? I've been a part of the UFC since 2011. My man was out there fighting in local promotions. This fight could have happened a long time ago." Then someone called out Jones for ruining his legacy by ducking Aspinall, to which he replied with, "If we can't beat him in the cage, let's try to beat him with our words. I get it. Yeah, sure. My legacy is ruined. You win." Lastly, Jones reacted to KHABIB calling Jon Jones the GOAT of MMA by saying, "I didn't expect that from KHABIB. It was humbling." Joe Rogan on unqualified judges judging in MMA has long been a hot topic for debate. Although little has been done to change judging over the years, ideas like open scoring and using former fighters as judges have been thrown out there, while the latest criteria for how judges score fights has placed a greater emphasis on damage. Joe Rogan believes that at the end of the day, what's really important is how knowledgeable judges are. During a recent episode of Joe Rogan, longtime commentator who holds a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Jean-Jacques Machado and a black belt in Nogi Jiu-Jitsu from 10th Planet under Eddie Bravo, weighed in on the situation while speaking with Corey Sanhagen, the way he sees things. It's hard to judge grappling exchanges, and because of that, judges need to be qualified.
Judge too,
Yeah.
which is a real problem because there's judges that don't train and never
Yeah.
have trained, which is to me fucking crazy.
I know.
That's like judging a Chinese spelling bee and you don't speak Chinese. Like, who knows
I
who's
know,
fucking
dude.
winning here?
I know it.
They don't understand it. They understand when someone's on top. Oh, he's on top.
I know.
Magomed Ankalaev teases Alex Pereira rematch. Well, it looks like Magomed finally got his wish and seems to be teasing a fight with Alex Pereira. Magomed went on X and said, "The following October, I will close the page, and this guy career no mercy." So it looks like we're getting the Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev rematch. Who do you see winning the rematch? Let us know in the comments below. Israel Adesanya talks about UFC return and responds to Joaquin Buckley while training with David Goggins last month. Israel Adesanya revealed that when he returns to action, he wants to avenge his loss to Sean Strickland. Now, while speaking with Ariel Helwani during a special International Fight Week edition of the Ariel Helwani show, the Last Style Bender doubled down on a fight with Strickland while revealing that he's targeting a return in October, most likely September, October. "The division's kind of stagnant. Strickland is the only one I want, but he hasn't responded." Adesanya also took some time to fire back at Joaquin Buckley, who he's been trading verbal blows with online. "Even if Buckley gets a belt, my career would wash his forever 10 times over. No matter what, I don't think he'll ever touch one, but still, it doesn't matter. Like, bro, he has a cool knockout. I love that knockout he had. But the other guy became a millionaire and he ain't no jokes, come on. See, I'm a hater, bro." While Strickland has not responded yet, the former champion was seen in a picture training at Extreme Couture under longtime coach Eric Nixick, who he said likely wouldn't corner him in his next fight after losing to Dricus du Plessis. The picture also notably featured Paddy Pimblett, who's in town for International Fight Week. Although Strickland's been quiet regarding a rematch with Izzy, he called out Jon Jones in a series of posts amid reports of Jones's latest controversy. "It's so wild that no one has ever said, 'Jon Jones, why don't you go to rehab?'" Strickland then replied to a post from Derek Brunson in which the former contender revealed, "Jon Jones and I used to hang out just about every day when I was in town from 2011 to 2014. One night, we went out and I said to him, 'Bro, why are you doing all of this? Let's just hang out with the ladies and have fun. I don't need a dad, I need a friend.' This was the last time we hung out. I couldn't sit back and watch. I have to be honest with my friends." In response, Strickland wrote, "More often than not, when it comes to addicts, you just have to walk away. Same with Stephen Bonner. Everyone knew this man was going to or end up in prison. Literally nothing you can do if they don't want help. Close the door." When a fan asked his thoughts on Nick Diaz, the former champion pointed out that Diaz is seeking help for his problems. Nick Diaz is different. The Diaz brothers are so mentally up. The level of depression and misery these guys live with is unreal. When I'm around them, I just feel bad for how miserable they are. He's trying to get help. He then wrapped things up, adding, "The Diaz brother have some real demons, mentally broken. Whether we end up seeing a Strickland Adesanya rematch, only time will tell." Max Holloway is better positioned than most to break down this weekend's main event, Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira for the lightweight title. Holloway suffered a knockout loss to Topuria down at featherweight in his last fight and beat Oliveira by stoppage in featherweight as well back in 2015, so he knows them both well. Speaking on his YouTube channel, Holloway gave his thoughts on the imminent clash between his former opponents. He admitted he believes Topuria can win, but cautioned fans against counting Oliveira out.
If Charles wins with a submission or even a finish of his own, even a knockout finish of his own, it doesn't surprise me. This fight is like super up in the air, guys. A lot of people are counting Charles Oliveira out, but that's when he just thrives in being the underdog. I don't know. It's how many times we called this man out and he and he somehow found a way to win, you know. So from my perspective, this fight is going to be decided probably in the first 3 minutes or 4 minutes of this fight, the first round, because Oliver is going to get touched. And is Ilia going to touch him with something that puts him out cold, or is going to hurt him and then he somehow finds a way to fight back? So that's the main thing with this fight, you know. If I was a betting man on this fight, and Charles Oliveira is he's the underdog. I mean, Charles Oliveira is like one of the best fighters in the world to put money on an underdog. So, you know, that's all I'm saying. You know, I'm not really picking a winner here. I wouldn't be. I'm just gonna tell you guys this straight up. I'm not gonna be surprised if Topuria win by knockout, or I'm not gonna be surprised. I'm not gonna be surprised if Charles somehow pulls it off and wins by a finish or a knockout too.
Israel Adesanya believes Charles Oliveira will be the first to truly test Ilia Topuria's ground game. Speaking on his YouTube channel, Adesanya advised Oliveira to take the fight to the ground rather than engage in a striking battle with the dangerous Topuria. Despite his admiration for Do Bronx, Adesanya still picked Topuria to win the fight by knockout.
Fucking grapple him. Just test it out. No one's seen it. Let's see if he's really about it. Charles should find a way to get this fight in the even in the first round, or the first few exchanges. Fuck striking, try and just
slow him down, hold him up against the fence, put the pressure on him.
Just stop, fake the striking and grab his leg or go for the hip straight away. Go for the clinch and just see. Even if he slams you or just does one of his Greco throws, cool. You're on your back, he's in your guard. On side control, cool. Let's see what the grappling is about. Test it, because no one's tested Topuria's grappling quite well yet. In this fight, I'm gonna go Ilia Topuria, and I'm gonna go by knockout. I don't know what round, but for me, it's just because Charles, he gets touched too much for my liking. So I just think Ilia will find the shot, I think pretty early. If Charles decides to just be aggressive like he says and push forward, and then if he gets hurt, Ilia will find that shot again or find another one.
Another legend who is better positioned than most to share his thoughts on the upcoming bout between Topuria and Oliveira is none other than Alexander Volkanovski. Speaking on the Ariel Helwani show, Alex gave a brief breakdown of the fight and picked Topuria to win by knockout.
I've got Ilia. I've got Ilia. I think just stylistically. And what we've seen, you know, Charles likes to, you know, he's very aggressive, very exciting fight. That's why we all love to watch him. But, you know, if he comes aggressive like that, there's going to be opportunities for Ilia. And Ilia can bang, you know what I mean? If you're going to come forward like that, yeah, you might land yourself. That's always going to be something as well, right? Like, you know, Charles could definitely catch him, but yeah, you can be hittable if you come aggressively like that, especially with someone like Ilia who's going to back himself and try and put one on you as you're coming in like that, especially if you know, you're that little bit out of position. You know, that I wouldn't say his chin's up, he sort of has a sort of guard, but the way he comes forward in a straight line, I think Ilia can really sit on some shots if that's the case. I know there's going to be knees coming up. Will he be worried about that? Will he want to be defensive first, Ilia, because he knows how aggressive Charles is going to come forward? It's an interesting one because we don't know how Ilia is on the back foot. Right. But will Charles be like, his only chance is catching me, I'm going to shoot, you know, I'm going to tell him I'm going to come forward aggressive, but I'm actually going to shoot on him. We'll see what happens. But if he comes aggressive and does what he always does, I think, Ilia.
You think he knocks him out?
I think it's a knockout, yes.
Yeah.
All right, fight fans, thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe and like to help us grow and to stay updated with the best combat sports content.